Hello everyone, good evening. This is Fanny from PachaMamArt, going live again to present chapter 2 of my Encyclopedia, the new Team 143. So I had to pretty up today because it's the great introduction of all my people. I'm stoked to see what's going on with Donald Trump, President Trump's and his delegation visiting China and seeing the world being reshaped, stepping away a little bit from the limitation of NATO and BRICS and bringing the new alliances, to the trend. So I'm very, very excited. This is the proof that, when you open your perspective and you're trying to see things differently, you can realize that the lanes that we've put ourselves in are not always the most accurate. I really, really believe that what's going on in NATO right now, you see that they're attacking. There's this drone business going on in Ukraine. There's Hezbollah that has drones. I just saw a post from the United Nations that said that there are drone battles between Hezbollah and Israel. And this is crazy because now wars, you don't even have people. They kill people, but they're not even taking risks. So it's literally they're playing video games with our lives. So I want to start with reading a quote from Vladimir Putin that I just saw online. And he says, it's a quote from Alexander Solzhenitsyn, which I don't know who this person is, probably a writer or a politician, I don't know. And it says, power is not a reward. It is not food for your ego. It is a burden. It is a responsibility and it is hard work. So, wow, I completely agree with this because you know how you always feel like, if it's your ego, when people put their confidence in you and when you start rising a little bit more to the spotlight and people read your work and you have more exposure and stuff. But it's not just that. It's a responsibility. When people start listening to you, it's a responsibility for how it's going to influence the world, but it's also a responsibility for your own life. It's a risk that you're taking. I've received many, many death threats when I was there alone in Florida. And let me tell you, I refuse to just let a dictator like Netanyahu, who is blatantly bragging about killing Palestinians, who is doing his little law all over the Middle East, killing people. Now they're complaining about Hezbollah, saying that I get the strategy. First they have to remove the terrorist groups and then trying to appease, whatever is left there. But don't you think that maybe Israel is the problem? If there are all these groups around Israel that are fighting Israel, maybe the problem is Israel. Like Hezbollah, Hamas, they were created, they were resistance group against the Israeli oppression and expansion agenda. Okay, so they created those opposition groups. Then, for some reason, weapons leaked into their hands and they pushed them to start and kind of justifying the genocide in Israel. I refuse. Guys, I know the judge who is in charge of the corruption case against Netanyahu was just killed today. I absolutely know that if something happens to him, they might come after me because I'm the one who's turning all America against him right now. I'm proud of it. I refuse to stop denouncing this freaking criminal because they might come after me. If they do, well, better kill one person and save 100,000 people's lives than just keep having all these wars around the Middle East and a guy who just acts as he pleases and is a total criminal. He manipulated America, manipulate everything. So I refuse to be, one more time, the excuse why, there would be people dying. Just, do what you gotta do. And whoever, when you join the military, you risk on dying. I just saw a post from the CIA. They were commemorating the people that they lose during this operation. Pete Hexet, when they're talking about, and General Dan Kane, when they're talking about their operations, they thank, the people that they've lost in combat. Like when you decide to serve your country or you're doing politics, it's a risk. But if you're denouncing criminals, of course, it's a risk that they will come after you. But can we just let fear make us shut up and let them do whatever they please? No, I'm sorry. So this is unacceptable. So I'm telling you already, this man is the problem. He's a big problem. This is why with Russia and with all the other organizations, the United Nations, the International Space Federations, all the people who follow each other for these many years, we all want to bring this denuclearization plan, because this impunity that is going on of people just protecting themselves because they are better than you. If you do something to them, something better is going to happen to you. This is unacceptable. This needs to stop. We're so sick of it. And with the technology evolving, it's going to be worse and worse. It's going to be just worse. Like, you're going to have all the worst people in the world who dare going and committing all these crimes, who are going to just lead, and people will just be terrified and don't know what to do. So don't ask yourself too many questions. We have to take a stand and that's it. So anyways, every morning I'm amazed by my network. I'm amazed by the beautiful people. So that's what I want to present today. And at the same time, I want to constantly throw up when I think about what they're doing, and it's just disgusting, and the manipulation. But the worst is to see them on camera being so proud and no remorse on anything. Like you don't know, like, what have they done to the United States to be able to do that? And maybe they're blackmailing other people as well. Okay, so let's talk about the good thing. At least my work is out to the world. So we have a good work today. It's going to be about 50 pages. So it's going to be a long conference. So welcome. So today is about the new Team 143. Every chapter starts with a door, because, when I had my paintings in my house was like a museum. There were beautiful paintings all around the place that every time I channeled information, I tried to translate it into colors. And every time people visited and I showed them the paintings, every time we would stop in front of a painting, we would start having a specific type of conversation. And then we switched the painting and we start talking about something else. And it was really like there were windows and there were like light codes in the paintings, and you would enter a new parallel world every time you would be in front of a painting. So this is why I put one of these doors in front of each chapter. I do not know. I think I found these artworks on Pinterest. So I do not know the artist. I do want to thank, however, first the two main artists that illustrated my book. This one, because my first encyclopedia is mostly 90% all my artwork. And this one, there's almost zero artwork from me, and it's all from Gretel, from Encoded Frequency. That is a page I share often on my Facebook. And the other artist, so she's the one who's doing all the light codes, the very etherical artworks like angels or other planets, Syrians, other civilizations and things like that. So it's really the topic of the moment with the disclosure files that are coming up. And the other artist is called Scott. His artist name is Myrdin, and he's the page Mystic Archives on Instagram. So I discovered him maybe not long ago, maybe 7 months ago, 8 months ago, something like this. And he's posted all these esoteric knowledge, esoteric content with explanations, things I love to learn about these, because really, the symbols have a frequency. And when you're working with those symbols, they emit a frequency. Like, for example, you know, on one of my side, I have some tattoos, and on my other side, I don't have any tattoos. And I was with my 2 friends the other day, and we were taking a picture. And afterwards, I was looking at the picture. And just that morning, I had posted, like, I'm so schizophrenic. One part of me is like, I love everybody, you know, I love my network, I love what we're doing, I'm so honored and excited. And the other part of me is so aggravated and outraged, and I want to just tell everyone to go fuck off. You know, I was just posting that. And like, literally, my tattoos are my network, you know, my tattoos, they're all my network. Of course, I love you guys. It's, you know, you made me, and we just make each other every day. But some days, you know, I'm like, it's so frustrating to not have, you know, the leverage to be at those summits, to be at those events, to make the thing, to make the project, to be a part, and, you know, be 40 years old and be so limited. I mean, you know the story. I'm not going to go towards that. But I was looking at the picture, and one of my friends was hugging me or loving, and the other one was like this. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, the energies that go through my tattoos on that day, the way I was feeling, she didn't do it on purpose, but she felt it, you know? So they really convey energy. So art is very, very important. And you can tell when you go to America, in some places where it's none but concrete and just roads, and you're walking from point A to point B, people are very depressed. There's no connection. It's really hard to make a circle, you know? While here in France, I make best friends in 2 minutes. Like, I meet people all the time. Because we walk a lot, we're outside, so we have more connection to the place. So anyways, back to the Dora. So welcome. Today we're introducing our new team 143. Each of us, and this is a quote from the Tablets of Emerald, each of us is the keystone to the other, each the gateway that leads into life and becoming eternal. I think I twitched it a little bit, but this is really it. We are the keystone to the other. You know, really, when I say my network made me, and I cheer for them every day, and Kim Kardashian, when she say, I like to be people's best cheerleader, like, this is really a network of love. This is why I called it Team 143, Team I Love You, you know? Because we love each other so freaking much, like the respect, the excitement of working together, the content we produce, the way we care, you know, I'm always scared that something's gonna happen to them. So this is really a great way to work. And everywhere I work, usually I met really, really good friends. Like right now I found a really good friends. We laugh a lot at my work, so it's cool. Of course, I'm still waiting. Also, I saw the post from UNESCO, Mr. Elenani today. That made me so excited. I really want to go work there. You know, it's my dream. So always available to you, of course. But in the meanwhile, I need to enjoy life, you know? So welcome to my favorite part of the book. I've been asked for evidence of the results from the PachaMamArt Encyclopedia. Because when everything is coded, it's really hard to say, you know, I'm working with these people, I'm working with these people. They're like, oh, really? Do you have emails? Do you have reference letters? Do you have... yes, I have many. But it's coded, you know. So, of course, when you start seeing it, then you can't unsee it. It becomes very obvious. So this book is about evidencing all this and bringing the puzzle together. Okay, so like I said, some people gave up, some other people placed their trust in us to continue their legacy, while others showed up unexpectedly, interested by the bridge we were building around the world for peace and diplomacy, while integrating civil society. Okay, so we have loved to see how Elon Musk bought Twitter to create a censorship-free platform, X, or how the United Nations turns to younger leaders and spokespersons to convey their message. In this book, you will also discover how we have created a network of daily discussion with elite and super creative partners such as the US government and Nobel Prize Committee to support each other in ways that would have never been possible before. And this is why I love social media so much, because, you know, there was a time you would read a book, but you would read that book. You would never think that you can go and talk to Paulo Coelho on Instagram, or you would never think you can just talk to the president, or, you know, this is amazing, the era we live in. We have so much connection and opportunities from that. And really, this is the gift that COVID gave us, to be honest. Because before that, we were all doing our little workshops, like on person to person, but you can't reach hundreds of thousands of people at once like you do online, and mostly connect with people who have the same interest. So this is really difficult because there's a lot of competition. There's so much information out there, and scroll. But with the algorithm, the thing is, once you start having your pages that you see every day and you're always commenting on the same post, and then these are the ones that pop up, and then it creates your little online world where you use center of interest. I'm pretty sure if I open one of my coworkers' Facebook or my mom's Facebook, the feed is going to be completely different. And this is why they don't see what happens like in my life, or what happens in politics, or what happens this and this, because they're not following. So I always share when I find a good page, I always constantly share them so you can follow them if you're into politics and stuff, so you can have the right information from them, like the Russian military pages that I share a lot, because they share information that they're important to the United States to know, and some things that I think could be of interest for Russia to rebuild the trust. I gave them a lot of information about technology, to organize the Space Olympics, for example. So that would be, if I would work at the UNESCO, one of the first things I would do is gather the scientists and go to Russia and tell them, hey, let's organize the Space Olympics. We want them to be in Moscow, like the headquarters, let's say, of that. So they could be the leader in that field. I know he really wanted that. Okay, and then I talk about, how I fully supported the Democrats in America. I love President Obama. I'm a huge fan of him and his wife. I love President Biden. I think he's such a kind and empathetic leader. But if you want to serve everyone, you have to be able to work with everyone, regardless of their political party. And you are not serving a party. You are serving the people, So if you don't like certain policies, make your way into politics, infiltrate, and not just criticize, but actually contribute. And this is why no matter who was in power, I was always interested in working with them. Sometimes the Democrats, they're like, oh, we're not, we hate them just because we lost the elections. But you can still win, win by bringing your ideas and making them happen. And they surprised us because they were very, very intelligent, and they've worked with us with open arms. And then we realized that they're actually super freaking smart, and they're doing amazing deeds, and their international diplomacy is amazing. We're reshaping the diplomatic relationships and everything. So very, very excited. I am impressed by the great limitation of the human mind, how quick we are to learn, that is, to imitate what others have done or thought before. Yes, that's true. But it's also, in the other hand, it's also very difficult to get away from the things, the programming that we have, so that's why the whole world was decided that Russia was the aggressor. But then you realize, man, we have so much potential in working with them. Ukraine is such a small country, and right now they're drone specialists. And are drones really good? Really, really for the world? Like, no, it's video games wars now that we have, and only the civilians suffer from it, not the government, trust me. So that's not really, I understand that drones are great for surveillance and stuff, but I'm not very in favor of those types of wars. Honestly, my ideal war, if we were to go to war, is that the people who sign the war decisions are the ones who go in the front line, you know? So maybe there would be a lot less wars in the world. Okay, so help your government see more clearly, share stories, offer your services transparently, and the result might surprise you in a good way. I'm not going to read everything because I'm going to post it, so I'm going to go quickly through each person from the network. So Billy Carson. Billy Carson, I consider a great friend. We've met 2 or 3 times, I think, to his events. I went down to Miami for a book signing, went again for the Conscious Awards, and honestly, I've seen so many of his conferences online, and we worked in parallel on the same topics that it's like we know each other. He has a lot of my paintings. I sent him 3 of my paintings, I think, when I wanted him to publish my book, and to work together. I sent him a lot of my art so he could see the quality, and mostly that he has the painting of Thoth, the Thoth painting that is very beautiful, because I'm just a fan of Billy Carson, and I wanted him to have it. I painted it for him, so he has that. He has another one that is the Ujat from Egypt. He has also the Ark of Emerald. So Billy Carson has my 3 most beautiful paintings. Yep. Billy Carson, he's a great man, very smart, very intelligent. I really wanted to work at the United Nations Alliance of Civilization and bring him in. Also, I think he really should do politics. He's very knowledgeable of everything, aliens, technology. He has the first class space agency, forbidden knowledge, and he's a writer, he's a publisher. So yeah, I don't know, he's still doing his conferences, but I think he's probably getting a little bored by it. At some point you need to reinvent yourself and go bring your talent, your skills, and the charisma. The thing with Billy Carson, he has so much charisma. He's very respected. He has a great network. He knows business. So he's a great asset in politics. I would definitely, wherever I work in the future, I would definitely hire Billy Carson. And yeah, and I sent so many gifts to all the network, because when some people would call it bribes, but in fact, when you receive hundreds, thousands of resumes every day, you want to kind of stand out. So I would send a package with my resume in it, and I would say, this is the art, because my art on pictures doesn't give it justice as much as when you see it in person. When you see the art is extremely, I wouldn't say that my technique is so crazy, or that my art is so crazy. I like something like this even more, but this is all digital. I like stuff like that. My art is more very simplistic, geometric shapes, but it's the energy. It's the energy of the symbols. It's all the energy I channeled while I was painting. It's the conference I was watching. Every time I was painting, my paintings could take me a month to make, or sometimes 3 days or a week, but the big ones a month. So I would be watching conferences from the Resonance Science Foundation, or from the masterminds, or political stuff, while I was painting. So everything I listened to translated into energy in the artwork. This is why people see them and they're like, oh, they feel something. Yes, because it went through my hands, like channeling the information without the words. So one of the biggest concepts from the International Space Federation, which was previously the Resonance Science Foundation, is the concept of entanglement. Do you know this word? Entanglement. It means that all the electrons in the whole entire universe, the information travels from, because they all touch each other, right? I mean, nothing really touches each other because there's space, but from the spinning, the energy collide, and by the electrons connecting or just touching to each other, they transfer the information, and then one electron to another, to another, to another, to another, to another, and information from right now can travel in seconds to the other side of the universe. This is why some people say, oh, I'm channeling my family from Sirius, and it's true, because the information travels through, and this is telepathy, and this is exactly the same thing that we're doing. See, I'm channeling the artwork that's in front of me right now. I'm channeling this. So I'm going to put it on. The electron is exactly what we are doing on social media. The energy, the Wi-Fi, it's crazy how people believe that the Wi-Fi, something that is in a little white box, okay, your router, or a little chip from your phone, little pieces of copper, unalive material, can actually give us internet. People believe that we can have telescopes millions of miles away in the vacuum of space, and we still have pictures from the James Webb telescope. That stuff freaks me out. That's crazy. How can you have Wi-Fi from millions of miles away? Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So people believe that, but they don't believe that your brain that is alive and connecting to everything, the children of God, the creation of life and intelligence, people don't believe that we can do that, telepathy and all this stuff, and that we have our own energy and thing. This is obvious. So the Akashic Records is the universal library. So supposedly all the information of all the intelligence, all the knowledge in the world is out there. Even the stuff we don't know yet is possible, is out there. And you're able to tap into this information. This is why there are a lot of scientific discoveries that some people, they said, oh, I woke up with this one day. Or, I don't know, I was working on this problem for years and all of a sudden I dreamt about the equation, or I saw the equation, or whatever. Because all of a sudden they unlock a door that gives them the key to that specific information, or they tap into a certain frequency, or it's like, when they are ready, or when it's the right moment, the information is given to them. But supposedly humans, if we were to use 100% of our brain, we only use a small percentage of our brain. Supposedly we should be able to have all the information in the world. We should be able to read all the people's minds and have access to all the knowledge, everything. So it's possible. So don't be surprised when people say, oh, I dreamt about this equation, or oh, I saw that, even though I'm not a scientist. I've never studied it. It just came up, and you're the person who's supposed to bring it to the world. And maybe they think you're crazy, but then another person receives the same information on the other side of the world, and then another one. And then it's like, oh, wait, this has become the new norm. That's why I believe so much in the work of Nassim Haramein and his free energy, because Tesla was working on it, and then Nassim Haramein is working on it. So if we have unlimited energy, it means, we don't have to fight about oil anymore and all this stuff. So these are the women. I wanted to do a little shout out to the women. So this is Cassie Dressler. She's a humorist. She's, picturing characters of everyday life and gossiping. She's so funny, and she conveys the information in her own way, and always, in a funny, humoristic way. I like that. The FBI, of course, they're always with us, always protecting us, always watching over us. I love the United States intelligence. They are the best elite forces. They know everything. I don't even know how they do, but these people, they're extremely intelligent. Before you even go to the interview, you have to do an IQ test. They don't even talk to you if you're too dumb. So yes, It's obvious that the people who work at the FBI, the CIA, all these high government officials, they all use a greater percentage of their brain, and they have more telepathic abilities and supernatural, they feel those things. They are able to work with technology a lot faster than most people. They are very intuitive. So I love this kind of people, because the more intelligence you share, the more it raises the level of the whole planet. And don't think that it's going to be competition, that people are going to, oh my God, if there is more intelligence, but then you step it up for yourself as well. And then we exponentially grow, and we're able to become superhumans, and it will become the new normal. And maybe we won't even need the machines, the Wi-Fi. At some point, of course, we love the visuals, it's art, everything we connect online, but it's more proofs, because I think about my network all the time, and the people that we, write to each other or about each other every day. And most of the time, I think about someone, and then I wake up in the morning and they post something, and I'm like, oh man, they read my mind before, we were probably thinking about the same thing at the same time. So it's all confirmations, and this is gonna develop. And I think we should invest more time, energy, focus, and budget in developing our own human abilities than all this technology, because the technology is dangerous, and it's gonna end up hurting us. And yes, here sometimes, taking a little drugs is not gonna hurt yourself. I mean, it can, yes, it does, but it also, I think once in your life you should try to take some types of drugs, because it unlocks some perceptions and things that you see things and you feel certain ways that really expand your mind, and then you believe in things. Like, for example, you know what? This was so funny. Like, everywhere I go, they say I'm an alien. Like, when I was working at Idea School, like my first meeting with my boss, he was like, "You're an anomaly." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, you're an anomaly. You're different." And like this morning, I went to work and I was late. Like, I come in late, 5 minutes late, and I'm like, "Oh, sorry guys, I was stuck in a temporal vortex on the road." Like, it took me 10 minutes, but I felt like I was taking 40 minutes to go to work. Like, this road never stopped. I was like in another dimension. And it's like, "Oh yeah, you were stuck in a temporal vortex. All right, okay." That's your people when they think it's completely normal. It's like, okay. Totally good excuse. So try that tomorrow. If you're late to work, you tell them I was stuck in a temporal vortex, and there's nothing they can say about it. They cannot prove you otherwise. Yes, so then we have, of course, I love Khloe Kardashian's, all the Nobel women. Did you see the solidarity with the Nobel women when they're asking for the liberation of Narges Mohammadi? This is really a community also of, people who support the efforts that, some courageous people give in the world, and they risk their lives, and they're trying to make things change with their voice or with their own lives. We can't forget about them. We can't give up on them, And I love that the Nobel Prize, they're not just handing you the prize and then bye, good job. They're actually creating a community that they continue speaking out. They continue trying to protect each other. They're raising the voice and concern, towards the government, and now the real solidarity, working together between the government and the Nobel Prize Committee, because they are profilers. The Nobel Prize Committee is so important. It's not just to feed your ego or receiving a reward, they're profilers. That's what they do all year long. The network they have, like, they know everything. All the leaders, the people who are, making a difference in the world or doing extremely high quality content, imagine they're recommended Did you see who are able to be nominators? Sorry, for the Nobel Prize. It's all like super high intellectual, universitarians, presidents, General Assembly members, women, international women's organizations, Nobel Prize committee members. So, you know, they're recommended by the best in the world. They provide the best works and discoveries in the world. So they know, their criteria of selection. It's a great honor to receive the Nobel Prize. And this is why so many people want it, because when you look at someone like Donald Trump or the Secretary General of the United Nations, who wants this coin so much, they want it because, when you spend your entire life, they all have, the humanitarians, they've been targeted, they've had people die, people who try to come and help you when they get killed. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, they all have had people, death in their families. Like, is it always a coincidence, really? Like, so, these people like Donald Trump, they've been harassing his family for many years. So when you're doing so much and giving such energy all your life, you want to have a recognition. It's very important. And I think you have to have a recognition, because if you don't, what is it saying to the world? It's saying, nobody cares. Yeah, you're doing good deeds. Okay, yeah, you be your own satisfaction, It's important that people get recognized, because otherwise people are going to stop doing good actions. You're working every day, you're not getting a job, you're still unemployed, or you're broke, or you've been a politician, you don't get no rewards, nothing. People are going to say, why am I going to go study? Why am I going to go help others? Because then I get in debt, then I get in trouble. Or why am I going to go and spend my money in working for NASA and bringing my billions and trying to go to the moon and stuff if, we don't have the support, the recognition? It's very, very important. This is the beautiful lady from the YouTube TV. They are hilarious. They're very smart as well. I love humor, I love to laugh. This is Maria Corina Machado's daughter. Her speech was amazing. Oh my God. She didn't even read her paper, the whole entire speech. She knew it all by heart. Crazy. Amazing. That was amazing to watch this year. The most amazing thing was how they gave their speech, and Mr. Jorgen Watne-Friednes, he was like, Mr. Maduro, step down, respect the choice of the democracy and stuff. And like a month later, the United States come and they kidnap him. Like, that was the best thing. Hollywood TV, but real life. Loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. So once again, that's why I also support the Department of War, Pete Hegseth, and the Joint Chief of Staff, General Dan Kane, for the Nobel Prize of Peace, because, is war peace? We're like, non-violent action and stuff, but really, they didn't need violent action in Venezuela. First, it wasn't even violent because there was no casualties except for like the bad guys. In Iran, what was I was reading a post this morning. They were saying, comparing China to America. They were like, China is the best military force in the world. They are the best because they've grown powerful with education, with health, culture, and things like this. They never went and attacked other countries and stuff, but that's great. I love that. But let's not be blind. There are bad things happening in the world. And if you just say, oh no, we're non-violent, we're not going to do anything, then it's complicity. If you're not going and help in Iran, where people are being beat up and they have been having riots for months, for years, they jail their journalists, if nobody helps them, then you're a criminal too. It's complicity. So sometimes you have to use violence. Some people just don't want to evolve. So it's courageous. The United States is putting their own budget. They're risking their own soldiers and stuff to go and help for the world security from known extremists. I mean, I'll let you, Secretary Rubio, tell you more about it. But I'm sorry, sometimes you need the violence. Peace, nice, doesn't always get you the results. You need to find a balance, And I love the government because they are very great people. They're very spiritual and they care. They're compassionate and they're badass, violent, kick-ass, soldiers, the Avengers. So that's what we need. We need a compromise. So yeah, that's my letter from the future. So in case you're reading this in year 3000, the only person who will have probably remained in the memories is most likely Kim Kardashian, the Queen of Beauty. No, seriously. I'll let you read that. I'm talking about, the people who mark our culture. Jorgen Watney Friedness, I love him, the president of the Nobel Prize Committee. I have a whole portrait about him later in the book. I don't know if it's in this section. No, it's in the Venezuela section, where I talk about his journey as well. We have the United Nations here, all the branches of the United Nations. Of course, the United Nations, every day we're working together. The Secretary General of the United Nations, he's a very peaceful person. So he always preaches for nonviolence. And sometimes, like I said, just like Joe Biden, sometimes you're trying to be nice and people take advantage of you and they're not respecting. Like Israel, when there were all these trucks in front of Gaza trying to go and help, and Israel was just blocking, the doors, and they didn't let them in, and maybe they should have been more violent, and that's why I want to work at the United Nations. I want to know, I want to know the secrets. I want to know what's going on, the files. Most of the time, they're trying to protect the people. They're trying to avoid escalation. He's a great man. The Secretary of the United Nations, he's an angel. That was a little slow in hiring me and all the stuff they did to me, but overall, we've done a great work, and I know they wanted to. The work that we do online is very important. They wanted me to keep doing that for free. But no matter where I work, I was always online with you guys. I was working at the school. I was working 50 hours a week. I still find the time to be online and do this stuff for you guys. Now I'm working in a restaurant. It's a lot more laid back. It's like the easiest job I've done in my life. So I have a lot more time. But yes, what is this about? Yeah, you see, I wrote that. The problem is that good people who don't want to hurt anyone doubt a lot, while criminals are full of certainty. This is why this network matters so much, to support the courageous decisions when it's time to elevate this world. Yeah. This is the moment to move with intention, to play offense while the world hesitates. Dean Graziosi. And you always want to have, the two perspectives and see what speaks to you. But Dean, oh my God, he's such an important part of my life. He's the guy who says, just do it. Just do it. So every time you have a hesitation or imposter syndrome coming in, or maybe should I write to them another time? Should I apply another 30,000 times? Should I take the trip? Should I call this? Should I look stupid? Posting pictures, like photo montage of this or whatever. He's the guy who's like, freaking do it. If you try nothing, you get nothing. So no matter how stupid you're gonna look, just try anything for your bigger future. And love what you do. The thing is, it's not just harassing people. It's like, if you feel like you're good at what you're doing and you love what you do and you can't live without it, then what the hell are you doing? Just work more of it. See, the fastest way to become insanely confident is to become dangerously competent. Imagine this book. Oh my God, this book is so good. Like, oh my God, imagine French people who just think about drinking wine all day. Like, having more of this American mentality of go-getters, and like Europe, like sometimes it's too slow. Sometimes it's too predictable, but it is loyal. For sure. We want, I love the American mentality for that none of my friends understand. Why are you still doing these things? Why are you still writing to those people online and stuff? I'm like, I'm still doing it because I believe I want a high career. My friend, she's like, but why do you want to be a millionaire? Why do you want a high career? Like high. And I was like, because that's what I want. Like, I don't know. That's what I want. I'm like, so I'm working for it. Yes. And the mentors, everything. So those trainings, doing all these capacity building trainings and bringing this mentality and talking to people and just be like, what do you want? If you had no limitation in your life, what would be your dream job? And then we take it backwards. Okay, what are the steps to do that? Look at Marco Rubio. He's going to be the next president of the United States. Okay? He's the son of 2 immigrants. Do you think that when he was a little child, with his mom cleaning hotels or whatever he said his parents were doing and stuff, do you think he thought, I'm going to be a president of the United States? Pfft, what in the world? The journey is so far out. But one step after another, and he was, a senator? What was he doing before in Florida? He was a senator, I think. He was always doing politics. He even campaigned against Donald Trump. He presented. Did he campaign for the election? I don't know. I just discovered Marco Rubio right now when he became the Secretary of State. And I just loved his personality right away. He's just a natural. And then they're showing videos back 15 years ago when he's already talking about Iran and the concern about the nuclear weapons and stuff like that. So he's the same team. He's the same wave of volunteers. Have you read the book of Dolores Cannon, The 3 Waves of Volunteers? He's the same wave of volunteer who came to Earth after World War II and stuff like that, the nuclear bombs, to say this is enough. We need to stop that. Make sure it never happens again, because, like Elon Musk says, so far this is the only habitable planet that we know. So now we all, thanks to the internet, we're all finding each other and gonna be able to gather forces all around the world to make it happen. So the journey, look back, and now he's Secretary of State. He has job at the government, and now he has a lot more media exposure. Now people trust him. So his next step is going to be president. But before that, he was a senator in Florida for a long time, and there are a lot of senators in the United States. Who says that you're going to be the one who's going to be picked by the US government? You know, so do your thing, and it adds up. And just be the best at your job, and then someone will notice. So that's what I believe. And I'm like, if I work at the United Nations, and then I'm going to work, I want to be the next secretary. When Rubio is president, I want to be his Secretary of State. I want to work with them, you know? So, but first, I need to work at the UNESCO. And then if I want to win a Nobel Prize, I needed to write the book. And even before I started the book, I was like, oh my God, I need to write another 600 pages book. When the first 600 pages book, oh my God, that was so hard to write it. That was so painful. That was so hard. It took me 3 years to write the first book. 3 years, because I had my son. I had big money problems. These death threats and all this stuff, like traumatized. I had anxiety attacks 3 times a day. You know, I rescued a dog, and that was crazy. I had, so before I wrote this book. I was like, oh my God, writing another 600 pages book. And I was like, take it step by step. And then I saw your post and I was like, oh my God, this guy is so cool. Oh, I need this in my book. Okay, gather all the images. I need this in my book. I need this in my book. Things that are excited. And then I was like, I'm locking myself up for 2 months this time. I'm doing it. And same thing for the oracle. Same thing for the thing. Step by step, it adds up. So, mentors. So remember, disarmament. All this work we're doing with Russia is because of our project. What is Vladimir Putin telling us? Every time he's... this is our project. Every time he's showing his new nuclear weapons, he's telling us, hey, if you're not bringing this girl in to implement her denuclearization program that we're working on it together, then I'm just going to keep building my nuclear weapons. You know, that's what he's telling you, because this is a project that we started, you know, in coordination with after the speech of the Secretary General of the United Nations, after studying the speeches of Vladimir Putin, after all this stuff. We've worked hard for it, and it's a responsibility. We're taking risk, but it's now with the U.S. government that are on our side to do all this, it's gonna happen. Now, I love that page. This guy is one of the social media handlers for the United Nations Environment Program. So I think they are, where are they? Did he say where they are? I think they are in Kenya or something like this. I'm not sure where the headquarters is. But one day I was saying online, you guys show your faces, please. Because, you know, you see the page of the United Nations, you see the page from the FBI, you see all those pages, those organizations that speak on the behalf of their co-workers, their organization, they're the storefront, but we never see their face. Why? Because they're representing an organization, so it's kind of like selfless. But there are still real people working behind the computer, and I was like, I want to see who I'm talking to every day. Show your faces, you know? Who are you? And when I posted that, he's actually one of the only guys who posted pictures of himself the next day. So, hey, good to meet you. Thank you so much for being there every day, speaking up in the name of our planet. Pachamama, Mother Earth, Ewa, whatever we call it. Those who respond to the call to protect life without a voice are the future's heroes of our planet. So many selflessly work as the storefront of big organization without getting the credit. It is important that we know you and see you. Never forget that there is a human like you and me behind the screen. Crazy. That's exactly what I just said. See? I remember what I wrote in my book. So yes, that was really cool. Then things like this that evidence, you know, how we kind of wink at each other every day. I posted that. Then the UNAOC posted that. And Starlink posted that. And, you know, it's like, hey, you know, we see you in our crystal ball, but it's just a wink to remind everyone, I see you. And sometimes that's all you need to keep going. That's as simple. It's very spiritual, very simple, but it touches my heart when I say things like this, because it's, you know, every day someone who says, I see you, like, you matter, we're working together, you know, it's happening in those organizations. So we are the messengers. Her artwork, so Encoded Frequency. I'm going to read that. I love this one. She posted that, and it's very, you know, out of this world and stuff. And then organizations like the United Nations posting that, like, hey, we're aliens too. We see you out of this world. You know, we're the same team. We come from the same place. We're here to make the earth better. And then Starlink, you know, they're surrounding us. And trust me, you can program mentalities, you know, all these conspiracy theories, like, oh, they're sending us these waves to program our minds and stuff. Now there are satellites all around the world. And what Elon Musk is saying is so true, because he's saying That's why he wants the monopoly of AI. That's why he wants the monopoly of a lot of things. Because Elon Musk is a great person. He's a kind man, compassionate. He's high intelligent, high values. He believes in all this frequency stuff. I mean, come on now. He's got Neuralink. So having them have the monopoly of all the Starlink routers that is all around the planet, if they just decide to code it to a certain frequency, they're automatically upgrading the intelligence and the frequency of the humans that are here. So working with them also for mental programming in a positive way, because the conspiracy theory is like, oh, they're programming us with those bad waves and stuff, so we all get sick and things. But it's true. If they wanted to, we could all kill each other in 5 minutes. They would program those things in making us super angry and start going crazy. They could literally do that. It actually exists already. Look at the HARP program and all these, how do you call it? The stratosphere thing. Yes. So, but we can do it in a good way, in a positive way, and tune in everyone to the 432 or these good frequencies that align the world to be more peaceful, more intelligent. So that's so cool. So now I'm going to read this one because I love that. I love that. So encoded frequency. This is the lady that provided most of the artwork for the book. And they were so nice. I want to say thank you personally. Yes, I forgot to say that because I wrote to both of them after the book was done. Because I didn't want to write to them and be like, hey, I have a project, but it's just a project. You know, I wanted to wait till the book was done. And I wrote to them and I was like, hey, here, this is the link to my book. I used a lot of your artwork for the book. Please tell me if you like it. Are you okay for me using your art? I can't pay you right now, but if I do make money with it, of course, I don't need a contract. Like I will, you know, give back to you. We will give to you the United Nations. I never forget, you know, who helped me, so, or who provides works and thing. And the goal is, for me, is to make it easier for people who, mostly artists and things. And they both said yes. The two artists I was presenting, they both wrote back to me really nice, really nicely and say, we're so happy to, you know, to be in your book. No problem at all. So I'm so grateful because without them, the book wouldn't be as good. This is all the connection, the illustrations of everything we're doing. This is very, very valuable. So all souls connect with other souls through larger groups that they are a part of. These groupings form a soul family or oversoul. It includes all forms of youth throughout eternity. Relax and be comforted by the beautiful visualization within Ser. Maybe it's a typo. The intention to invite your oversoul to step in and guide you gently. The high-level soul that you share with others in the soul family is often referred to as your oversoul. You are both an individual soul and you are a part of your oversoul. These souls are separate but connected. They collaborate and cooperate through incarnations with each other, and in the oversoul, all fragmented aspects become one. That's exactly what's going on. Love it. Let's continue. So this is the UNAOC, United Nations Alliance of Civilizations. I think this is the greatest department of the United Nations. Really, this is amazing. They're doing a great work, mostly against Islamophobia. And yes, I don't know. Yeah, they had this great summit for the future also last year. But I honestly, I think they could do more social media work. The Alliance of Civilization. I don't know. They should have someone who, makes their page more active so we would know exactly what they're doing every day. I would love to see that, what they're doing at the United Nations. Like if you follow their page, if you don't care, you don't have to follow them, but you follow their page. I would like to know who, like it took me years to even know who was the director of the Alliance of Civilization. So So yeah, we want to know what's going on. This is the transparency helps removing the conspiracy theories, because I know it's great people working there. Yeah. A group works so much better when there is gender balance. Racial discrimination is a violation of human rights and human dignity. This is like all my little crowns all over the place, where I'm really, admiring people and think they should be rewarded. This is the people I wanted to bring in at the Alliance of Civilization, but it's okay. Things readjust, and we pivot with the new actors, because also when you have new people coming in, and now UNESCO is a great place to work at too. I love to be in France. I'm not far from my family, and then maybe it will be a step towards working with the US government later. And I love the boys, I want to work with them and work with Russia and do this Ministry of Sound and all this project and bring in people to the US government, and then maybe work really closely with the Alliance of Civilization. Like, nothing is set in stone, we have to pivot. There's other very, very qualified and amazing people that are able to do the job, like Mariam Bukharasan. She's the global peace advocate. She would be great working at the Alliance of Civilization later, whenever they decide to hire. Jorgen, he's the Nobel Prize, the chair, the Nobel Peace Prize, committee president. Same thing. His journey, he's worked for Doctors Without Borders. He's one of the Secretary General of the PEN Norway, which is an association that defends freedom of expression and the rights of journalists. So he's done a lot in his country, in Norway, but I'm pretty sure that he's going to have an international career, and that working at the United Nations or working with governments is also part of his career goals. Just like Billy Carson I was talking to you about earlier. These are young but extremely skilled and smart people who want to be a part, and we need to open the doors for all of us, because we are the future. I was watching this hearing for the budget of the War Department. Like, I don't want to be disrespectful. I know it's just like, Mr. Moratinos at the Alliance of Civilization. I know that they're probably friend with the Secretary General, but like, I respect my elders and stuff, but you're 80 years old. Can you leave? Can you retire? Leave the space for the people who are 40 years old and unemployed? Like, come on now. Jesus. You don't want to go use retirement money to go on the beach and drink some mojitos? Like, so many young people that are unemployed and struggling. That's crazy that they're holding on to their seats for so long. Drives me nuts, to be honest with you. So we're taking over now. That's it. We're coming. It's nice to share the experience, and like I said, you can't replace experience. But 80 years old, come on now, Jesus. Like, the guy, he's at the hearing of the War Department, and I know they don't want us to disrespect him or anything. The guy, he can barely speak. They're like, they disrespected him by trying to help him. Well, he looked like he needed help. He could barely finish his sentence. I'm sorry. I was like, what? But they're welcome, of course. But like, what is the unemployment rate? Anyways. But also this translates also the fact that in America the retirements are very low, and like, a lot of people have to work until they're 80 years old or 90 years old. Like, you have cashiers at Publix, they're like 75 years old. Like, there was this guy at Target, this old guy, and the crazy stuff, they can't even sit down. They're not allowed to sit down in the supermarket. I've been 8 years in Florida. 8 years, the same old guy at Target. He's like 90 years old, the guy, and they make him stand up all day, and he's still working. Why? Because the retirements are so low. So they have to work so late. There's really, really a lot of work to do with social like welfare and stuff like that in the United States, that we could improve by maybe changing the retirement system or creating a circular economy. Like I think, for example, what Donald Trump did with the accounts, this is an amazing idea. Like they created these accounts for kids, like they put a couple of hundreds or thousands of dollars in it. I'm not sure how much, but then by the time they're 18, it turns into $100,000. So that's a great idea for ghetto kids who start with no chances in life. These are great things that needs to continue. But that was a guy, a millionaire or a billionaire, who came and gave that idea and who gave the money. So yes, it's cool. You don't want to tax the billionaires, but they have to get involved and redistribute, create the circular economy that they're redistributing and helping others. That's why I want to be rich. I want to go back and help all the people that, need help and or give them a job or just hand out some money to help them start their business or just buy a car or something. But like everybody needs help, and sometimes, the mentors are gonna tell you, we're giving capabilities. We're not handing out money. We're handing out how do you call it? Resilience, capabilities, resourcefulness. Yeah. Sometimes it's nice that people hand you a check. I just want to say, sometimes it's nice to have a check. It saves you a lot of conflicts. It's resourcefulness. Sometimes becoming a thug is not the resourcefulness that you want. I'm sorry. Like the stuff I had to do sometimes to survive. I wish I didn't, but I had to eat, man. So I had to be a little thug sometimes. Anyways, just like Rubio, right? Just a little thug Rubio. Did you see that video of the guy who was literally harassing Rubio and calling him a little thug, and Rubio was just so unshakable. That is so funny. Yes, but these are my two favorite people at the US government, like almost in the world right now. Rubio and Hexed, they are so great for America. They are full of compassion and intelligence, and they have great plans, long-term plans. That's why I trust them with their decisions. Not everything can happen in a minute. They're very smart. So honestly, whatever they say, I trust them. It doesn't mean I'm not going to keep harassing Israel, because I think the guy is criminal, crazy. But anyways, what is that? Groupon. What is this? All right, whatever. Yep. So these are my little angel wings right now. I'm so grateful for their support and their amazing work. They are the guys who went and helped out the world. They've already helped 2 countries, Venezuela. They've already helped Iran being saved from dictatorships. Secretary Rubio, he called Afghanistan a country of unlawful detention following Malala's speech. So this is true cooperation. They are angels. They are very, very high energy people. So we're so grateful to have you. Really, really loyal. Really, I'm loyal to them. Whatever they want and ask. That's why I just, gave away my house. They're like, you need to leave now. Quit your job now. Leave. Do that. I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just gonna do it. Okay. Yes, sir. I just trusted what they told me to do. So let's see what the future is going to be like. But also, you want to work with people that you trust and that are loyal. So maybe in the future, we're building very efficient teams that are going to be indestructible. So this, I'm going to let you read that. I already posted it. So this is their presentation. Yes, and also I wrote that we are all divinely guided, and we have to talk to every type of audience: the Christians, the Muslim, the spiritual, the rebels, the conservatives, the progressives. They're defending freedom of speech. So yeah, really cheers to the boys. I call them the boys because literally you don't see a lot of women in this business. Like Caroline Levitt, I don't know how she ended up there, but yes, like Rubio said, she's irreplaceable. She's really awesome. She's nailing her press conferences. She represents Donald Trump very faithfully. So it's great to have teams like that, and they have her back as well. She's on maternity leave. That's really cool. Kash Patel, the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Yeah, oh my God, the journalists, they're just harassing him right now because he drank a beer. Come on now, Jesus. Like what? The guy, you have a job, you're not allowed to have a life anymore. I understand when you're in these high level positions, you have to represent, but you're also on high stress all the time. Like at some point you need to, how do you say? You need to, release, the pressure, the anxiety, and go have some fun and just be a human. What makes you human is what makes you a good FBI agent, because you understand your victims, you understand your citizens, the people you defend. Okay, so their goals is to crush violent crime, defend the homeland, rebuild public trust, and fierce organizational accountability. That here, this is everything that they've done. In America, they brought AI to the FBI. They saved a lot of money. Also, by changing buildings, they have arrested so many narco traffickers. They took down fraud in many states in America. So I'll let you read all this. This is one of my friends that I met in an airplane. This is Simon, Investigations. We met in an airplane when I was going to Egypt. We started talking about cryptocurrency and arguing because I had a lot of money invested in crypto. He was telling me, no, that's a scam. I was like, not at all. It's not a scam. I'm going to make a lot of money. And in the end, he was right. I lost all the money. And anyways, but he was super nice, actually. He was always checking, if I was safe when I was in Egypt and stuff. The guy is very altruistic. He gave away a kitten. He gave away a kidney to a total stranger. His little rubrics. Every day he's telling stories about FBI arrests when he was an FBI agent. So it's really interesting to see the cases he was working on. He can give you great ideas on how to go rob a bank, Listen to him. No, but that's interesting. Actually, there are some crazy people. Oh my God, you listen to the story, you're like, people are insane. People are so crazy. Yeah. He was specialist. He was a financial agent, so he was specialist in embezzlement and fraud and all this stuff. So hey Tom, thank you for your cool rubrics every day and making me freak out all the time. Every time I look his rubric, I'm like, I'm gonna end up in jail. Oh. But that's also good to remember, to remind people to be a good person. Yes. This is another branch of the FBI, so I'm not going to read everything, otherwise the video is going to last like 2 hours, which probably will. U.S. Department of War, Donald Trump, the Thunderbirds, the Blue Angels, all the military who is, impressing us with excellence. Why am I a fan? A huge fan of the Blue Angel and the Thunderbirds. Huge fan. Because they just promote excellence, and these are like probably the most difficult job in the world, to be a Blue Angel or a Thunderbird. Like the level of precision when you see them doing their figures in the sky and everything. Oh my God, they this is crazy. Like the level of precision and mastery of the body of the airplane, like they're almost aliens, you know? So I love that because it shows what humans are capable of. It shows that if they can do it by discipline, by years of studying and saying yes when probably was difficult, then you can accomplish that. So it also motivational for people who want to become like an astronaut or I don't know, a surgeon, you know, all these super difficult careers that you're risking your life for other people. Even worse, imagine being a surgeon. Worst job in the world. Like, oh my God, the pressure. You have to save people's life. Like if they die, you can go to jail. People put their lives in your hands. You literally have people's lives in your hands every day. The level of stress, you have to be an expert. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to become a surgeon. You know, I'm just going to go rip off people, whatever. No, you have to be passionate. You have to be a specialist about every single thing. Because if you don't, you die or killing someone. So that's pure discipline and mastery. I think it's very impressive. Yes, I'm not going to talk about that. Newsmax, great, connecting with the journalists, the news network from Newsmax. They always have the best interviews. They taking risks. Like they're listening, you know, and we're having conversations. For example, when I was asking about Israel, I was like, what is the plan for Israel and stuff? 2 days later, he's there in Israel interviewing Netanyahu and telling us, reporting what they said. Now they're talking about this disclosure files and asking, you know, why they're doing little drops by little drops of disclosure files. And honestly, let's be honest, people, like intelligent people, ask a lot of questions. But most of the low IQ, angry people, whatever, they're full of certainty, and you just look at the comments sometimes on the social media, like all the insults and stuff. Just look at a post from Kim Kardashian and look, oh my God, like you know, when you see a media review of Kim Kardashian, whatever, the hate post, and you're like, those people don't realize that they're jealous. Like, you know, the hate post. Why do you go and hate on the president? Are you hating on a superstar? Are you hating on people? Okay, well, if you're hating on a guy who killed, you know, 500,000 people, it's different. But you made your research and everything, and you ask questions for many years, it's different. But there's people that are so hateful and they attack their neighbors and things. They think it's cool, you know, oh, I told them that and that and that. So violent. So this is kind of why they classify information, because a lot of the time the whistleblower, the ones who give information, they get killed or they receive hate, or as soon as you become a little bit successful, the president, the War Department, people who start having a little bit more light on them, they start hating them, they start attacking them, they have death threats and stuff like that. So the disclosing the UFO files, and you know, what's his name, Stephen Greer. When I saw him in a conference, he was talking mostly about their protection program. That was actually the most thing he talked a long time about, was how they're really protecting the whistleblowers, their life is in danger, and sometimes it's not necessarily the CIA that's killing them. It's people, haters, maybe Christians, who it will completely change their conception of life that they built their personality on. Read my first book, The 6 Stages of Acceptation. When you have a new information or something, a very big news or something that really changes your a belief that you have. There are 6 stages. The first stage is completely ignore, or you're not seeing it. Or for example, if you have I don't know, if you have black hair, and I'm telling you, oh, you have blue hair, you're not gonna be like, oh my god, this person, this blah blah. You don't care. You're like, okay, I know it's not true, so whatever. It's not gonna offend you. Or if I'm saying, oh, this bottle, or something that you don't care about, you're just gonna ignore it. It's not gonna take you personally. So either it's something, or if I'm telling you something that you think is really not true. If I say, I don't know, if I say, oh, you know what? I saw the Hulk yesterday. People, they know it's a movie. They're not gonna be offended. They don't care. So the first stage is either they don't think it's possible, or if they're not interested in it, so they're gonna completely ignore, or they're ignorant. They're gonna completely ignore or not see it, or it's not gonna matter. They're just ignore it. Then the second stage is questioning. Then something comes back, and they see this Hulk guy that was born, in a nuclear explosion, and that has this crazy, gets really angry, and he turns green. And then they're like, wait, who is this guy, like this Hulk guy? And then they start asking questions. So when people question something, or maybe they're gonna be like, no, but it's not true, or they have no, that's the third stage. The second stage is anger. They'll be like, no, that's not true, or denial, that's not true, whatever, blah. But if you're in denial or you're angry, it means it's already touching something. So it already means it could be true. Okay? So the second stage is anger. And this is when people attack each other. They're angry, they're insulting. This is the stage that's difficult. Once you pass the anger and you arrive to the questioning, you start asking questions, or you start having a debate. I don't believe that's true because this. Now you're questioning. Then it means the window is opening. Now you can, it could be a part of the truth. So the third stage, the fourth stage is then acceptation. Like you've had enough proof, enough evidence. It's been repeated enough. Now you accept it's true. Okay, just like a religion, for example. The science is going to tell you this. At first, they were burning witches, 300 years ago, and now they're like, oh, look at this guy, he's flying. Or they're doing telepathy and stuff. Now they're making documentaries about it and things. So you have ignorance or ignoring, denial and anger, questioning, then acceptation. And then after that, you have promotion. Then people discover something they accept, and they're like, oh my God. Like me writing this book, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. I need to tell the world about it. Now I'm going to promote these people. I'm going to promote it. So promotion. And the last stage is harmony. After everybody starts promoting it and it becomes more of the norm and stuff, then people can start living in harmony. And this is what's happening with Russia, China, the United States. At first they were like, oh, NATO hates Russia, so everybody, NATO needs to hate Russia. China and the United States, they're competitors. It's always been like this, blah, blah, blah. Now, I've said it for a long time. Donald Trump came in with the same speech, and now they're in China celebrating. We're planning big things with Russia, so we're reshaping the things, and now we're promoting it, and slowly it's going to become harmony. The alliances are going to reshape. Okay? So the importance of the journalist is absolutely sorry, I can't speak English anymore. I want the real word, but it's absolutely essential. Okay, it's absolutely essential. So important, because they shape the mind of people. That's why their job that they do every day. They're gonna bring you a news softly. They're gonna take a detour. They're gonna prepare the minds. ask questions, that they're professional mind programmers. So I love to connect with Newsmax, Fox News, the people who are interested about the content. They saw that a lot of the truths and things that have been hidden you can find in this book. So I'm very honored to work with you. They are funny. They all have their different personalities. They're promoting, senators, and they're showing the little battle between Democrats and Republicans, the good thing they do, and it's a really, really great network. Yes. And Carl Higby, I'm super grateful. He was one of the first that was super excited in connecting and working together. So he's a journalist. He also has his craft company, he's doing woodwork. So I love that we all have passions outside of our, you have to be pluridisciplinary. It's a lot of the super intelligent people, they are good at very different things. Because why? Because we get bored if we're always just working on the same thing. These are people who change careers a lot in their lives. I mean, I don't know. I just, discovered him, but so honored to work with you. Thank you so much for the support, the excitement. The man is on fire, you can make information entertaining as well. Mostly when he's talking about Democrats and Republicans, it's probably not always the most passionate topics, but we still need to cover that and inform the people of what's actually going on, because American elections are very difficult to understand how it works in the States, the number of seats and all these, because you can be elected in America as a president, even if you had less votes than the other guy. That's crazy. Because it's a state thing, it's which state has won, and then you count the states. For me, I couldn't understand that at the beginning. I was like, how can this guy have more votes, but he's not the president? It's because it's you win a state. So he's talking a lot about that. And, they're talking about people, a lot of personalities. What did they do? How do they work? So really cool, really interesting. You're making difficult topics more fun to understand. And what did I write here? Yes. Exposure is influence and leverage, and rhetoric is a call to action. This is why it is so important to have reporters and experts helping people think, to learn how to protect each other instead of hating our neighbors, and how to expose the inconceivable. 8 billion people in the world, armed terrorist groups, lunatic dictators, criminal immigrants, divided political views, but they are also amazing people. Also, he's funny. He's so funny. He was posting, in his story the other day, guy had one job. You have to make a shelf with some crayons, and the guy has knives on this stuff. Or he was like, oh, thanks for the tip. I'm not going to do that. It's true. You can hear different stories and tips and advice and just decide that's cool to know, but I'm not going to follow your advice. Because, my mentor would always say, don't listen to the advice of the people who don't have the life that you want. So if your broke aunt tells you how to find a job, for example, my dad, who hated his job his entire life and who was always angry about it, he's telling me how to find a job. And I'm like, thanks, Dad. I'm not going to listen to you. Sorry. I don't So, yeah. So we speak as one. Really, this is what's happening. We're all working on the same topics with our personality, our signature, our blueprint. So thank you to the courageous people who launched new cultural associations, the journalists. Thank you to Newsmax. And yes, be part of the change. Then there's other associations, that we don't necessarily know, and that are bringing change in your local at the local level. So this is more art. So I'm gonna, Snoop Dogg also was winking at us a lot. I'm gonna pass a little bit. This is my beautiful tattoo. I love this tattoo. Anna Rowley, guys. She's the best, the best, the best, the best. Listen, I just went to do this tattoo the other day. This stuff is still not healing. This is the longest healing ever compared to I did all these tattoos, and this little tiny one right here is not healing, you know? And I'm like, your tattoo artist really matters. Choose a good one. So if you want a good tattoo artist, I would literally travel. If I had another piece, a good tattoo I want to do, like a complicated piece like that, I would definitely travel just to see her. She is the best. Yes. My little man, most beautiful boy, my little Esteban. We went to Paris last summer. We had the best time. Oh my God. We had the best time ever. You know, after, I'm telling you my life, guys, after years of struggling, of not finding a job, of having debt, and being stressed out, I finally saved up some money. We had a whole summer holidays. I was employed at the school. So I had 2 months holidays. I had saved 6,000 euros just to spend on fun. And I knew that my son was going to go live with his dad for a little while. So I was like, I don't know when I'm going to see him again. So I really want to have the best summer ever. I don't want to have any problems. I don't want to work too much. I just want to focus on my son and have the best summer ever. And we did that. We went to Paris. We went to Normandy. We went to the south of France. And yeah, we had a blast. This is my best memory with my son, was our trip to France last summer. Even though we've done a lot of things, but he was old enough, you know, to walk and to enjoy, to eat. Oh my God, that was the best time. He was my little date. That was really, really cool. I miss him. Esteban. Yep. Okay, I'm going to pass a little bit. Emmanuel Macron. Yes, our French president. I love this guy. He is so funny. He never misses an opportunity to play around with us, you know, to send a wink to what we're doing, but also to support. Very supportive. He's been a leader in international diplomacy during his whole mandate. You know, they really have defended Ukraine. So I always criticize NATO because personally, I am convinced that we should reunify NATO and Ukraine. I think that we need Russia for bigger projects, that Russia are leaders, they're more powerful. Truly, Ukraine, I'm sorry, you know, it's a small country, there's no culture, they're draining Europe with all their problems. We should just give in, but it's very noble that they didn't give up because it's a small country, and they said, just because you're a small country doesn't mean we're going to give up on you. They protected Ukraine, they all gave money, they you know, they showed solidarity in what it means to be an alliance, even though NATO, Ukraine is not part of NATO, by the way. I'm sorry. Why are we helping them? Ukraine is not a part of NATO. Hear that. Why is NATO protecting Ukraine? It's not, and they don't even want to have Ukraine. They keep saying, it's been 5 years. They're like, Ukraine is going to be a part of NATO. Ukraine is going to be a part of NATO as soon as the war is over, but we're not stopping the war, and we're going to keep trafficking weapons. But NATO, Ukraine is not a part of NATO, despite how many times you say that it's going to be. It's not. So, I don't know. I think the problem, you know, one of the things, for example, when you apply to an organization like the United Nations, in the job description, they say you need to have a collective mindset over personal, which means that you agree, you're okay agreeing with a decision that is not your decision, even though you were having a different vote, a different opinion. You agree to work on a project that is against your belief. And that is the problem that is a little bit limiting in big alliances such as NATO. Because once NATO says, no, we're protecting Ukraine, we're draining Europe because of Ukraine and stuff, they all kind of have to have the same solidarity message. This is why they all say the same thing, they all have their speech, but I think it's kind of they're taken by their individuality a little bit. The countries are starting to look at how Spain has started to criticize Israel, and now all the other countries are doing it. Everyone is suing, is putting a claim in the International Criminal Court against Israel. So one starts and then everybody else follows. So yes, but he's a great leader. France, no matter how many people criticize, you know what bothers me a lot? The French people, they criticize France all the time. They don't know how lucky we are here in France. Oh my God. We have all the welfare. We have all the help. Like, we have we have universal income. It's not a lot, but it's still 580 euros, which is like maybe close to 700 euros. Dollars. So we have almost 600 euros universal income. No matter what, if you don't have an income, you're not married, you don't have a job, if you don't have someone to provide for you, you're not left alone. You have $600 come every month, which means that if you're lucky enough to have someone you can stay with, then you still can eat. And then you have helps for your rent. They give you allocations for rent. So, for example, in my situation, if I was to rent an apartment and not work, they would help me. Be a how do you call it? For the guarantee, be a guarantor or whatever. I don't know how you say in English. They would have me be a guarantee to rent the apartment. They would give me maybe 300 or 400 or maybe more if you have a child, maybe 600 euros a month to help you pay for your rent, plus the universal income. Just that, without working, without I'm not saying I'm going to take advantage of it and live off minimal income all my life. But when you're in a transition, just like me, for the first 2 months I came here, I didn't have a job. I didn't know how long I was going to stay before I could find a job. I didn't know if I was going to find something here where I'm lost in the mountain. And I collected my 600 euros a month. I mean, not right away, because it took some time to get the paperwork done and everything. But, I mean, we're so lucky. And they're criticizing France all the time. Like, we have cheap wine, we have the best food. Travel a little bit around the world, and trust me, the food is not as good. I've lived in England, I've lived in the United States. Like, I'm sorry, the food in the US is not, they're not famous for their food, or their barbecue, or, I mean, chicken wings is good, but French food is healthier. That we're just thinner, so, like, just look. We just look healthier. So, because the food that we eat. Then, anyways, so people complain a lot about the government, but in fact, we have a lot of advantages. And this is why I want to bring the United States mentality more to France. So we're a little bit more go-getters, because I argue all the time when people they're criticizing the government. I always tell them, then go work there. Like, cool, you're criticizing, then go work there so you can make it better. If you're not trying to go work there, you're not allowed to criticize. I'm sorry. Or you're trying to do a local initiative, or anything, you know, that's going to change the system to make it better, then stop complaining, because you're profiting the system, but you're not trying to make it better. So I'm allowed to criticize because I'm trying to go work there to change those policies, and even though I'm not working there, I still contributed to that all over the place to change the mentalities. So I'm allowed to. And most of the time, and by the way, most of the time, I don't criticize, I support. This is the thing also. Like, I don't criticize. I support and I contribute instead of criticizing. So don't criticize, contribute. That's the thing. And this is why they accept you. When you're participating, they accept you more than where you're constantly criticizing and blah and blah and blah. Because when you actually make the research and you try to become a part of it, you realize that there aren't so many conspiracy theories. The information is out there, and they are doing everything transparently nowadays. And you realize that they're actually good people who care, and they're humans just like us. They make mistakes. Sometimes they don't know. They have doubts. They have limitations. But they're actually good people who care, and they're trying to do the best for their people, you know. And one of the things that the masterminds did with me, that I was kind of like their prototype, you know. I was kind of like an experiment, because it's not every day that mentors find someone who's gonna say yes to everything. You know, it's just like, quit your job, okay, take a trip, you know, rob the Best Buy, take the trip with a camera and make a movie, okay, like. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't rob Best Buy. I just did a loan to buy a camera that I didn't pay. But technically, they just gave it to me. I was at Best Buy and I went with money to buy the camera. So I'm there at the cashier and they're like, do you want the Best Buy credit card? And I was like, oh, don't tell me credit card. I was like, yes. They're like, okay, so you don't have to pay anything today. We're gonna just give you the credit card and you can pay it off slowly every month, $40. I was like, oh, okay, no problem. But I was actually paying it. I had no intention ever. You know, I laugh about it because unfortunately the circumstances, like you don't choose to be broke. Like I always paid my stuff. It's just I got broke. So I better laugh about the story, but it doesn't mean I'm proud of it. Like it's no fun on being broke. But anyways, the mentors don't always find, you know, someone who's just like so excited about it and just is gonna start from zero to the top and gonna say yes to everything and follow and support them and promote for them and everything. So they were like, okay, she's the prototype. If it works for her, it means our system is working. You know what I mean? So they're trying to create the perfect system, the perfect recipe, so then they can sell you the perfect recipe, you know? So it's like a scientific discovery. You make all this experiment until you find the experiment that creates the vaccine or, you know, the medicine, the things like that, and then you sell it. So many people are broke. So many people are depressed. So many people have big goals, but they don't know how to get there. So that's what we did. That's why they didn't give me help. They didn't come to save me. They were like, what do people do when they're alone? When there's nobody to help them? When they're stuck? They have no money in their family to help them, or not a lot. They have problems. They're going through a divorce, like millions of people. What do they do to make it in life, you know? And I was publishing my stories daily on Facebook, so I was the proven results or proven like pathway journey. Then I wrote the book to shortcut that for the people. So that's why they didn't help me, because they were looking for the perfect recipe. And then they're going to sell you it, you know, or we're going to sell you it with UNESCO. So that's why, guys, trying to share all the story. Yep. So, Emmanuel Macron, thank you, merci pour votre soutien et pour votre humour aussi. Qu'est-ce qu'on rigole, franchement, Astérix et Obélix, voilà. Great movie if you haven't watched Astérix. Yes, someone is sitting in the shade today because someone planted a tree a long time ago. Yep, it's like Vladimir Putin said today, it's hard work. It's not just being funny, it's just hard work every day and commitment and never giving up, and this is how you create your path. Yep, so these are some posts. This is also some like motivational stuff. The issue, yes, this is Mirdin Lear, his real name is Scott. Mystic Archives is providing amazing content. Go to his page, Mystic Archives on Instagram, promoting his book here to thank him from sharing all this great content every day. I have no idea who this guy is. We don't know anything about him. I looked him up on Google. I talked to him. It's like he's keeping the mystery a little bit. But the book is really cool. I bought his book. So now, this summer, I'm going to spend some time reading the book when I'm done with the video series presenting the book, or when I'm out at the beach and stuff. Or in the subway in Paris, wherever I end up at. Never give up. But what I read today from the director of UNESCO was very promising. So I hope it's gonna happen. Yes, so thank you for contributing every day. And same, there is a real connection, between the information, the news that's going on, and what he's posting. He's posting you the esoteric translation. So sometimes the content is a little crazy-ish, but it's always on point. Vladimir Putin, our great comeback to the international community, how he was the black sheep of the world, everybody pointing finger and tried to attack him. And then when you actually listen to what he says, he was actually right on a lot of things. And he actually has a lot of respect for his citizens, for Russia. Russia is a cold country. Man, these guys are tough people. Just by the climate that is there, they are tough people. They are warriors. Their culture is, they have tried to eradicate Russia so many times, and their culture is to impose who they are into the world and let the world adjust to it. So this is what he did, and I helped him do that because he was speaking for me, and I spoke for Russia, and I was tired of seeing all these, just like the war between Democrats and Republicans, that was the same between the US and Russia. I was like, they are the most powerful nations in the world. Why are they fighting? We should unite and just dominate. So in this book, you will see another perspective from what the American and European media have spread around. In fact, you will also realize that neither Americans nor Europeans are feeling like Russia is a threat to our safety, and mostly think of Vladimir Putin as a trustworthy character making his way back to international leadership after years of propaganda against communism and the memories of the Soviet Union. Maybe he just wants his cold Russia to get warm access to the beach in the Black Sea, as well as commercial practicality. Okay? So I talk about Russia all the time. I'm not going to spend too much time. We'll see that there's a whole chapter later in the book. But he said it many times. We are not planning to go to war against Europe. I have said that 100 times. But if Europe wants to wage a war against us, it suddenly starts a war with us, we are ready. There should be no doubt about that. The only question is if Europe suddenly starts a war against us, I think very quickly, Europe is not Ukraine. In Ukraine, we are acting with surgical precision. You see my point, don't you? It's not a war in direct modern sense of the word. It's if Europe suddenly decides to go to war against us and actually follows through with it, then the situation may arise very quickly where we'll be left with no one to negotiate with. This is really what we don't want to do, what we want to avoid, escalations. And I think that NATO has not been a good actor in these negotiations. You know, they're so stubborn. I hate stubbornness. You know, the resilience I've had to show in my journey, how much I've had to lose to be loyal and be proven trustworthy to my people. And Europe, they're taking millions, billions of dollars from European taxpayers and giving it to Ukraine, a small country that we benefit nothing from. Excuse me. This is weapon trafficking going on. And the excuse that Russia is going to be next. You know, Netanyahu... Netanyahu and Zelensky, they're using the same speech to have people go on that side. Ukraine is like, oh, the next one is, you know, after Ukraine, they will invade Poland, and then they will invade Austria, and then blah, blah, blah. Vladimir never said that, okay? He just said he wants Ukraine and his access to the Black Sea, and that's it. Netanyahu is doing the same thing. He's like, oh, Hamas, blah, blah, blah. The next thing, all the time. Oh, they're going to attack Americans. They could attack, oh, we're on the other side of the world, bro, okay? Just keep your business in your neighborhood. America is going to be next. They could attack New York City. They could do that. Just, they're trying to put fear on the others, so we go and justify their little dirty business. Crazy. Yes. So, honestly... Yeah, and even Vladimir Putin now, is cooperating to the case against Netanyahu. So, all against him. I'm sorry, guys. You can, threaten everything you like. Everybody decided that he is a genocide criminal and he should stop and recognize Palestine. Everybody, the entire world says it, and it still continues. You know? So now, I'm hearing in my head your question. Actually, I can already hear. You're going to ask me, but what is the difference between Russia, who has brought this war in Ukraine, and Israel? You know, they both have killed people. So the difference is that, first of all, the conflict between Palestine and Israel is something that have lasted like hundreds of years. Like this is, I don't know, hundreds of years, but this has been forever. They just hate each other by nature. These are cultures who hate each other. So Netanyahu, all his entire life, his only speech was, you know, we need to get rid of the Palestinians. We need to get rid of the Palestinians. They are born with this hate for the other culture. Okay, so it's in their core to annihilate the Muslims or the Jews. So this is something that is never ending. So we understand the point that Tony Robbins talked about it, that at some point we had to make a decision and pick a side. You know, that's why they took the side of Israel, and they say we need to eliminate those terrorists who can't just leave quietly. So Israel was right. Okay? In theory, Israel convinced me last year in his speech in New York City. Marco Rubio agrees with him. Israel was right. If these people can't stop fighting and arguing at some point, this needs to stop, and they made a decision. But the problem is that they completely this went out of control. They started killing humanitarians. They started killing all the civilians, children. They literally, you see them targeting children, bombing hundreds of thousands of children killed every day, and he's making his propaganda. You have Israeli people bragging online that they're killing children, they're killing Palestinian children, they're not worth living and everything. Like, that is literally a racial hate. This is racial wars. Like, this is crazy. This is a genocide. Okay? The whole point is to just kill everyone. All right? Russia is completely different. Russia never said that they're going to kill all the Ukrainians. It's the opposite. Russia wants to take back the Ukrainians because their education system is rotten. They canceled languages. There is no culture. This land used to belong to Russia, you know? So Russia just wants their land back, and so they can have access to the Black Sea. And also, there is NATO involved. NATO that has been doing weapon trafficking and all this stuff. So you're going to tell me maybe America also is involved with Israel. There is kind of a parallel. But in Russia and Ukraine, these are strictly military operations. And that's a war. There's NATO against Russia. Two big power wars fighting militarily. So yes, there has been civilians killed. It's difficult to have a clean war. Russia has attacked. They're tired of this war. They want to have peace. They want their land. NATO has just been so stubborn in not wanting to give in anything. Why don't we give them their land back? So I don't know if I'm very convincing right now, but this just not a clean war. But Russia is not there targeting purposely Ukrainians, trying to kill Ukrainians every day. And even Ukraine is kidnapping their citizens. They don't even want to fight for Ukraine. They're kidnapping them to go to Russia. Like, Ukraine is imploding economically. You know, the country is already like done. So why is NATO trying to keep this war going? Why don't they just sign a peace agreement? We don't know. So anyways, yeah, it is kind of similar. It is kind of similar, but we do need Russia for this global denuclearization plan. But like I said, Russia wants to care about the Ukrainians. They want to take back the land. They want it to be a part of Russia. Netanyahu, he's just like trying to to genocide the whole civilization. It's different. You know, it's the target that's different. Russia is military targets. Netanyahu, it's civilians. So anyways, that is so crazy. That is so aggravating. All right. So plenary session. So this is also all the assets that Russia can bring for us. You know, all their scientific community, their research on energy, their influence on the BRICS countries, ultimate relationship with Brazil, India, China, countries in the Middle East. You know, Israel, all he does is talking about killing Palestinians. That's it. That's all Israel does. What does Israel do or bring to the table, at the world table? Nothing. All they want to do is kill people and Palestinians. Okay, so this was a funny one when I was talking about how you read the comments, how people don't trust the government anymore. Okay, I'm gonna pass a little bit. These are the same people. This is my friend Julia. She flew to France with me. This is Kim. Here's the queen. You can recognize here the crown. Recognize that crown right here. It's this right here. This is my little crown for our little queen. It is so beautiful and smart, intelligent. Yay. Yes, I'm so proud to work with Kim on so many years. Creating all this beautiful content, being an inspiration to each other. Love Kim forever. More symbol of this one is the compass. So of course it's the symbol of Freemasons, of the Masons. Architecture is sacred. I love architecture. You know, we used to have palaces everywhere, and I love when they build things and there's like lots of symbolism and everything. Ooh, guys, I'm getting tired. More beautiful artwork. The Nobel Prize Committee working with us every day, every day, every day, every day. I love to wake up and I read the messages from the Nobel Prize Committee, their posts, learning about great people. And there is always, a nice wink to our work or messages of encouragement and lots of love. Sometimes you haven't met people, but you really feel connected through the mission, and then it connects people in really deeply. So we really share this obsession. I mean, we were born in that era. That's our job. We're programmed for that, I guess, in this incarnation to reach those goals. So when you find the people who share the same goals, it becomes possible. You're no longer alone trying to accomplish a crazy task. Then you find the other people who believe like you, the people who have the resources to do it, the people who have the leverage to do it, the power to do it, the legal authority to do it. So that is inspiring, exciting. Oh my God, not only you're finding friends or people that you call family that you're going to hope to stay with, for a very long time, but you get also to share a passion that you can work on together. That's what, on my first marriage, we had no points in common. Like, we would laugh and go out and have good time and love each other. But when it came to deep conversations or what we want to do with our lives, deep topics and stuff, we really didn't have anything in common, even in the personality or anything. So when you find those people, it's difficult to find people like that, so you don't take it for granted. You have to fight for each other every day. And it takes time sometimes, but it's worth fighting for. Mostly when you get to 40 years old, because when you're 20, there's a lot of choices and options. And then you're 40 years old and you're like, man, if I want to, take a new direction in my life, it should be right now. And it's not that easy. So when you find your gem and your tribe, you fight every day for it. You know how precious it is, because you know how hard it is to find people like that, but they exist. Yes, but overall, I know it's kind of subtle to compare Russia and Israel, but there's no comparison. Like, Putin is an inspiring leader. He's smart. He is doing great things around the world. He's supporting his neighbors. Israel is only bringing destruction and hate. It's even offending to just compare them, to be honest with you. It's just because they're both at war right now, but the stubbornness of NATO or even the UN, and we've been trying to have them hire me so we could solve all these problems for a long time. Even the Nobel Prize Committee last year was kind of like not understanding why the UN wouldn't give me a job. Just one job, guys. And we could try to solve all these problems at the legal, official level. So yes, that's our little team that we've been secretly, not so secretly, but working together and sharing content and really bringing just lots of love and fashion, in good fashion, and trying to make all the topics interesting. Let's talk about it. Like, he represents the elite, the compassion. He worked for Doctors Without Borders, now the Royal Swedish Academy, the Norwegian Institute of the Nobel Peace Prize. They are royals. Like, this is the highest standard of living, the highest manners, the highest elegance, the best speech. This is the highest intelligent intellectuals. They read millions of books. They know everything. They have high criteria. They're very strict on the criteria. What is peace? Are these people honest? Are they doing good deeds? Are they telling the truth? Are they really, do they really live with integrity? You know, they have all these values, but at the same time, they're smart enough to say, okay, nobody's perfect. What is the give and the take of reaching peace in this region? You know, what is it? Like we were talking about, you know, non-violent peace work, but sometimes what does it take to go and get a Venezuelan president to restore, remove narco trafficking and stuff like that? So this is the highest intellectuals, and they are giving a very high rewards that a lot of people are competing with. So this is someone that we look up to, that we respect. Jorgen Watne-Friednes. Finally, I can pronounce your name. They love everything symbolism and art, everything that is culture and diplomacy at the highest level. You know, Kim, she's the same thing, but in everything fashion. So everything she does is beautiful, gorgeous. She's the most perfect, most beautiful woman in the world. She has all the great couture, the highest elegance, you know, everything has to be perfection. She will never get on camera looking like crap like me, you know. But at the same time, she's the intelligent. She shows that beauty can be intelligent, compassionate. She cares about the law. She cares about prisoners that have been jailed unlawfully, just like the Nobel Prize Committee cares about Narges Mohammadi. She loves the art, you know, so she represents all that. She's an artist. She's very eclectic. She's funny. She's a rebel. She's daring. She's courageous. She represents all these values. Meaningful. Every time she wears something or she creates like a brand commercial, it's so intentional, always thought out. You always have like messages to interpret and everything. So this is the art through beauty, the intellect through the body. So we need both, you know. Of course, he is handsome as well, you know. And I am more like the craziness ready to, you know, how do you call it? Crawl in the dirt to get to my goals that are just as noble as what the Nobel Prize standards. We actually care about the same thing, the same values. We're all passionate about politics, about making an impact, positive influence, I would say, in the world. And the only thing is that I'm just crazy. I just like imperfectly show up every day, no matter the challenges, no matter the doubts and the struggles. You know, I lost it all for my cause. I share my journey every day. My life is like a TV reality because I'm like the mastermind. I'm showing what it takes to the world to become someone. And the difference between me and the others is that maybe not Kim, because Kim did the same thing, but when you go to a mastermind summit, for example, a lot of the people they show you are already there. You know, they show you, oh, this person, she's a millionaire, and she's going to tell you the story on how she made it. This guy, he's, you know, a real estate giant, blah, 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 he's a billionaire. He's going to tell you how he made it. Or Russell Brunson, he's the ClickFunnels, one of the best marketer in the world now, taking the legacy of, what's his name, Dan Kennedy, and this is how he did it. They're showing you video and stuff, but they're already there. The difference is that I started becoming more exposed while I was at the lowest point of my life. Like the people who saw my journey, like I was getting a divorce, I was being threatened by terrorists, I had to go to the FBI, I went to jail, what else? I had to take a job that, I said I wouldn't be a teacher anymore because I wanted to do a political career, but I had to do what I had to do to take care of my son. And I tried to keep my house. Then I lost my house. I rescued dogs and people, and I lost it all. And, people saw me through all my shit, literally. So, somewhat, a lot of people are grounding for me, rooting for me to make it, because it shows that, sometimes the journey is messy, but you still can make it. And if you make the efforts, and a lot of people who started with me were left behind in the journey, and I kept going, and I kept going, and I kept going, and they're watching me. And one day, all the people who ask why I keep doing this, I want to say, now I'm here because I didn't stop when it went crazy, when it went nasty, when it went dirty, when it went scary, because I had all these people to inspire me every day. And this is why I love my network so much. I'm crazy about them. I obsessed, because they are those who bring you the hint of craziness and inspiration and motivation and the beauty, show you what's possible to keep going. And mostly if you hope that you end up together, it's even better, when you're looking for, you want it all. You want the love, the career, the connection, the network, and then the influence to help the others. And also I think that I showed that you don't have to wait till you make it to help the others. You can also do this alongside the journey. While you're rising, you have to take people to rise together with you. And when you're on top, like Kim, you lift other people up instead of stepping on them. So that's our beautiful story, guys. Did you like it? I love it. I don't know if you're still watching, but yes. So that is, look at her. Oh my God, look at her. She's so beautiful. Wow. Yes, that is our little project. She's actually making a movie about it. And that's our Elon that we love so much. He is a genius. He's inspiring the world with everything that he does. Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink. Honestly, what can we say about Elon? He's just the best, most greatest genius on our planet. The guy would say, oh, we're going to Mars. People are like, okay. Like the craziest thing. He says it. We know he's going to do it. So Elon as well, we know he works a lot, but I've put a picture of Chloe right here because she's just as amazing. And we want to see Elon freaking in love and obsessed and passionate. We know he has kids. And this is personal business. So this is just gossip right now, you guys. But maybe people love gossip. We see him working all the time, but we want him to be happy. And he has kids all over the place, but we don't really see him having this romance that he's crazy about. And he deserves it. So, we're like a matrimonial agency here trying to find love for everyone. Chloe, she is just an angel, to be honest. That's probably the best word. She's beautiful, she's funny, she's intelligent, she's caring, she's enthusiastic about everything. She's empowering. She empowers the people. She's not the kind of person who's stepping on others or who's trying to criticize. Even I looked at all the seasons of the Kardashians. She's always the one who's, mature and trying to just cheer on people, motivate. She's just cool. She's a good mama. So I don't know, we should hook them up together. So Elon. So let me tell you, Elon has been a great part of my journey. He, should I tell all the story? His plan is to launch thousands of rockets, like 5 rockets a day by 2030. And I love space. I'm obsessed with space. But the problem is that it pollutes a lot. Like in Florida, they have Cape Canaveral where they're launching rockets. And I have never been so sick than when I was in Florida. I had pneumonia, bronchitis, all the time. I was always sick. My son was always sick. All the kids at my school in Florida, 70% are on Zyrtec. You know what Zyrtec is? And it's a medicine against allergies. So the air, the quality of the air, I'm sorry, it's not the pollen. Trees don't kill humans, okay? Kill trees, give us oxygen. Okay, so the pollution from the combustion of the rockets and everything is very bad for our atmosphere. Mostly when we know thousands of rockets are going to be launched here within 5 years. So when I came in with my equation and trying to promote the International Space Federation and the new type of spaceships and stuff, you know, I went to the launch, trying to meet them for the launch. I sent them my resume, I sent them my equation, I sent them everything, and he's been encouraging me. You know, he's been encouraging me since the beginning in climbing up the value ladder, in getting heard by the government, exposing my projects. You know, he bought the X for freedom of speech, so even during the elections, he was campaigning for Donald Trump and I was campaigning for Kamala Harris. They never tried to shut me down, all the opposite. Like, that was crazy because he invested millions of dollars in Donald Trump's campaign. So they could have tried to shut me down and be like, shut up, you know, because I am pretty good at what I do. Like, I can come up with good arguments. So I was a good rival all the time. With Elon Musk. We were actually rivals. Political rivals, technological rivals, because, you know, I was against the rockets. But instead, he supported me to speak more and to explain why and to campaign for Kamala, you know, and we were having kind of those debates on, you know, why the Republicans can do this better. And I was like, why do the Democrats are right on that point? And I'm showing you why. And they posted the videos and stuff. So this is how we both led the campaign. And then they took from my argument to offer better. And that's where they were smart. And the Democrats were not. Is that the Democrats just criticized the Republicans and say, they're this, they're that, blah, blah, blah. Where the Republicans have been smart is that they actually listened. And they said, well, you offer that, well, we're going to do it like that. You offer that, we're going to do it like that. And this is why they won, because they were talking to all kinds of people. Yep. So one of my best friends that I've never met, and you know, Elon Musk, of course, he's not against technological progress. So we want to work together on building these new renewable energy spaceships that are non-polluting, of course. But the problem is that it's urgent because right now he only has one life. You know, he's already 50 years old. His SpaceX, his business has never been so powerful. Donald Trump is in power, which is like his best friend. So if he wants to do crazy things with government support, it's right now. So of course, then there's Rubio who's gonna come, and hopefully they're gonna continue that and everything. But like, you never know what the future is made of, and like, there is no time to waste. He wants to see the fruit of his labor. By the time, you know, he wants people to see go to Mars, and nothing's gonna stop him. So if we don't get to create those spaceships, he's gonna go with his polluting rockets. And I get it. He wants to see the fruits of his labor in his own lifetime. So we want to accelerate that. We want to build those spaceships that are not going to pollute the planet. But we want to have government and leverage. And we have scientific leverage. We want the Nobel Prize to be given to Nassim Haramein. So they can have the credibility. They can have the money, you know. And of course, I hope that Elon will invest as well in it, but I want to have also the leverage working at UNESCO to work on those progress so we can make those things happen. And we're not slowing down the mission, but we're actually bringing a new direction to it. So it can still happen, but in a more sustainable way. So I think I explained pretty well. Yes, I love that email from Elon Musk to his manager. The only action that the managers of the company are allowed to do or will be asked to resign immediately is contest order by replying to me and explain why I'm wrong, or ask for clarification or execute the order. You know, so he's always used critics to get better. And this is one of the very big skills in someone, is to be able to take a critic and grow from it instead of going directly in a fight. So of course, Elon deserves a Nobel Prize. I really, really hope that he gets it. I hope that we also get in this direction that is more sustainable, less polluting, that is gonna lead him to a Nobel Prize. I know Elon is already the king of the world, you know, so we should help and promote the ones that are rising and support them, like Nassim Haramein, the International Space Federation, so they can bring their piece to the table. Yes, so that's Elon. I'm a fan, honestly, forever. Jared Isaacman, also such a great, great man. I love that he was working with SpaceX on the Polaris mission, and now he's the administrator for NASA. There's no more competition. They're working together. The two greatest space agencies in the world working together. And now they're going to the moon. They're working to Mars. NASA decided that they're doing the base on the moon, and SpaceX decided they're going to Mars. So instead of both spending money and working on the same project and competing on who's going to be on the moon first, they are splitting tasks and accomplishing just the best thing ever. And whatever they find out in going to the moon, they're going to give the information, the data to SpaceX so they can accomplish it. And of course, they're going to do it too because, you know, it's government organization. So they don't want a private organization to beat a government organization, but they are working together. You know, now they all like Elon, Trump, Pete Hegseth, Jared Isaacman, they all working as one. So this is beautiful to see. One more time, would love to see more women that are just like, you know, awesome and working with this team of guys of high responsibilities. Because as soon as a woman becomes a mother, she's the maid. That's what we are. Yeah, the origin of the name Artemis in Greek mythology. You see, look at the logo of Artemis. You see the logo of Artemis? And this is the Mason sign. So you see, you always have these logos camouflaged. And it's A like Apollo mission, the Artemis mission as well. It's all references. You have the logo of Robert Grant, the Alpha Omega. His logo is like this. It's a diamond, two diamonds, crossed, interconnected diamonds, red and blue. So you can read a lot through just the logos of the people who work together. Just like my tattoo that I have right here. This one, I already explained how all the people who work with the masterminds, they all have a logo that has like the same time of interconnectedness and the M and things like this. So it's like a gang. All right, gang? And these are runes. And here, this is my resume for UNESCO. So the new team, and I'm trying to be the new one on the team. So that's my resume. I want to be the new assistant director for culture at UNESCO. And when I write a resume, you know why I put that in the book, guys? Because when I apply for a job, I'm not just sending a resume and a cover letter, guys. When I apply for a job, it's a full month of work. It's like I'm making a resume personalized with my 25 pages resume. I'll let you read it, guys. I've been doing so many things. I'm a science teacher, languages teacher. I had my art business. I did all this art. I made movies. I made 2 whole movies. I did art exhibitions. I've been teacher. I've been examination director. I've been cultural director at the Alliance Française. I've worked with embassies. I worked in Bahrain. I've been a teacher in Peru. I have tons and tons of diplomas and certifications. Too much. But I keep that. I wanted people to see everything that it takes and that how it adds up, and then you build an empire. And that's it, guys. Tomorrow or next time I connect, we will read the Join the Avengers League. That is it. I think it was a long video, maybe 2 hours, but it was so important to introduce everyone. So when you read the book, you already know all the people, and maybe, 2 hours every day. You think like it's a lot. You're like, oh my God, 2 hours videos. But at the end, if you follow all my videos, at the end, you will have read a 600 pages encyclopedia. When is the last time you read a 600 pages encyclopedia? Like, we all buy encyclopedias, but do we read them? Like, we put them on the shelf and read a couple of pages, and we don't read all of it. So what we're doing right now, if you commit to following my videos and we're reading it, we're learning it together. So by the time of the end of the encyclopedia, you know all our secrets of the network, and you're ready to be efficient, super efficient. You're shortcutting. So this is decades of work, not just my work, but this is all the CIA secrets, FBI, SpaceX, Kim Kardashian, all the people, a lifetime multiplied by the number of people, of experience, of leverage that is put in this book on how we use that to work together. So you want to be efficient like that and work like that and learn the language and everything. Is it worth committing 2 hours a day? There are 9 chapters in my book, and we're already done with chapter 2. So 7 more times, 2 hours. It's like 15 hours. Maybe I'm not going to do 2 hours every time, but imagine 20 hours of your time to learn a whole encyclopedia and all our content and information. It's worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, that you will read the book, and thank you, and I'll talk to you later.